All right, hey guys. So this is going to be the last craft talk of this genre. You guys are probably sick of listening to me at this point, but I don't care. So today we are going to talk about theme in poetry and emotional interiority, which I will define for you guys later on. So theme is the moral or lesson that a piece of writing tries to get across to their audience. It can be a large theme such as grief or loss. The theme of a poem could be more specific, like some of our enemies have the largest smiles. The idea that people who betray us might be the closest ones to us. That's a bit cynical, but it applies, so I'm going with it. Your poem could have themes such as loss of innocence, or its literary term Bildungsroman, which I know is a mouthful. I think it's German, but I think especially for young writers, that's a big one. Is when did you first realize that the world was not as pretty and innocent as you thought it was when you were really young? I think that is a great theme for young writers to focus on. Your poem could have themes of family and the importance, or some of my lone wolfers, the unimportance of family to the speaker. And when we think about some of those basic fables that we were told as a kid, like the tortoise and the hare, we automatically can recall the lesson that those stories were trying to teach us, such as slow and steady wins the race. Poetry does that same kind of thing. Themes expose the morality of the piece, the fundamental issues that the speaker is grappling with. It's important for each of your poems to have a theme, even if it's general. It helps to give it that so what element that we've mentioned in the logic craft talk. Themes can help you wrangle together all of your poem's images. On the poetic triangle or the poetic square video, I kind of talked about using images within the world of the poem. Theme is a great way to kind of consolidate all of that together. And even the form, if a poem's theme is motherhood, perhaps you could arrange the format to have one line standing on its own, followed by four shorter lines. The one line representing the mother and the smaller ones representing the children. You can really put meaning into everything in poetry, and oftentimes people do. It's a lot more than just lines on a page. But theme anchors your poem together so that the reader doesn't feel that what is included in the poem is random. They all live together in the same world and tie in somehow. Emotions make up a large part of theme and poetry in general. We as readers get to see inside our speaker's emotional interiority when they open up to us. It's one thing to have a speaker say something, but if it's missing the emotion, then we as a reader don't feel as close to the speaker as we'd like to be. We want to empathize with our speaker if the poet lets us do so. I find oftentimes when a poem is really abstract and flowery and kind of purposely mysterious, that we as readers feel an emotional distance to the piece. A wall has been built up to keep us from fully understanding the speaker and the poem as a whole. Giving, hints of vulnerability can go a long, long way. Now, this is not to say to bare your heart out and give us your diary on a page. Emotions are effective when they are subtle but artfully given. We cling on to a statement that punches us in the gut because maybe we as readers have felt that way too at some point. And the way it was stated was like, oh my gosh, you just put into words this feeling that I couldn't put into words. Poetry does that for us sometimes. However, the impact of that amazing statement weakens if the writer continues about it on for the next few stanzas. So less is more, but when you give a reader an inch, they will take a mile. So when you're thinking about your poems, kind of dig down to the gut of the poem. What is kind of the main idea of really wrangling this all together? And how can I bleed all of those aspects out into every avenue within the poem? How can I consolidate everything to work towards this idea? Nothing is random in poetry. Everything connects, everything is within the family and within the world, and themes and emotions can help us understand, empathize, and also gives us kind of pleasure because we see that oftentimes things that we go through are also being gone through by the speaker, and they were just able to say it in a way that we couldn't, and it made a lot of sense to us. So it's definitely important to keep that in mind. And it takes practice. Everything takes practice, but that is theme and emotional interiority. So next week with the craft talk videos, I'm going to see how you guys like this format. I may do it a little bit differently next week, but I really want you all's input. So when we do meet for our Zoom meeting, I would like you guys to touch on how these videos worked for you if they didn't work. So I will see you guys Tuesday.